Good morning, afternoon, evening or night, whenever you're watching this, welcome. This will be my second visit to this dump site. The first visit, I was kindly being shown around by somebody I met at another old dump site earlier in the day, and today it is my turn to show some people around. My good friends Caroline and Phil of Let's Go With The Johnsons. Well, not so much showing them around as just revealing to them where this site is, and being social with friends between shots. They'll wander about, find what they find, pick up whatever takes their fancies. I'll find other things. They'll have a video from today out within a few weeks. I'll have this one out in months, years maybe. I am very slow, but I'll get there eventually. Last time I was here, I found some of the best condition old bottles I've ever found, and a few other nice and interesting things. I'm hopeful that today this site will be similarly generous to all of us. I think I do prefer river walks, for the nature, the birdsong, the trees, the tunnels, the variety of scenery, and the sound of water. But you can't beat an actual old Victorian dump site for concentration and quality of finds, at least up here in the north, away from the Thames, the Medway, and some of the other estuaries. Strange-looking bottle, probably a perfume, reminds me of a deep-sea bioluminescent jelly perhaps, or cuttlefish-like creature, and of course that makes me want to make something. Probably beyond me to make something like a lava lamp, but with bioluminescent moving model creatures instead of wax globules. And yeah, I think it would lose most of the wow factor if it was just moving lights on a static model. Still, might take the bottle just in case. I think I'm coming to the end of my habit of taking most vulcanite stoppers I find. Not quite there yet, but I'm thinking it and feeling it more strongly. Just a little apothecary-style bottle, beautiful colour, and no sign of glass sickness beneath the mud. This site is uncommonly gentle to old glass. And that is an old soda siphon bottle, broken at the top. Maybe somebody could make use of it, but it's not for me, not today. I think it's the right thing to let my friends have first look this time, so I'm following a good way behind, seeing what, if anything, they might have missed, or seen and not wanted. And I do see a vulcanite bottle stopper right next to Phil's walking stick, and right in a fresh footprint. Sorry for the squeaks, that's my backpack straps being noisy. It is not my intent to imply that my eyes are in any way better, spotting things that they've somehow missed. I miss many things, including obvious things that I sometimes walk over, or stand on, or put my bag down on. That's a common one. Fresh-looking hole that's been mostly filled in again. Now that's bottle digger best practice, a rarity to see and very much to be applauded, even if it is for messier bottle diggers who fling the spoil all over the place that provide the best hunting ground for mudlarks. Now this is a big mess. I think it's mostly the same as it was the last time I was here, so there probably won't be much that's obvious, so I'll be looking at the edges and the shadows, hoping to spot small things, coins, pipe bowls, marbles, buttons. Little milk glass button. Quite a common find and not usually something that has a maker's mark, this one no exception. Now who can see my next find? It's glass, hiding down in the grass. It's one of my favourite relatively common finds to find. Gartons, the most common of the glass bottle stoppers I find. but still a lovely colour, and I'm not bored of finding them. Caroline and Phil will probably put some footage in their video not filmed here, a trip to Phil's shed for a little craft project, and maybe a historic building visit as a break from what is a not particularly interesting landscape. I wonder if I should do such things too, filming some of the historic architecture near to the dump sites I visit. At a site like this, there's nothing really but the finds in the sky. In defence of this place, the finds are numerous and nice. Rarely ever find pots like this in such good condition. Shame I have too many already. On the one hand, it has small patches of the most brilliant iridescence. On the other, it has rust stains and a fair lot of a less appealing form of glass sickness. Broken murder bottle. Baby feeding bottle system which was falsely advertised as wonderfully hygienic, and the rubber tubes that came out of them were instead perfect breeding grounds for bacteria. Still not found an intact one. I wonder if bottle diggers do sometimes deliberately smash them, rather than taking something which may well have been a major contributing factor in a young child dying. I'm not sure I'd really want one in my home. I do have one of the other sort of vintage baby feeding bottle which has no such horrible history. That beeping is a huge dumper truck, a reminder that this site is doomed. It's scheduled for redevelopment and they fenced off part of it, they're levelling that, and one day they'll get around to this portion of the site. So every visit here is kind of precious, and I should try to save quite a bit. There's a few bits of this poison bottle lying around. If I could find all of them, then I reckon it would make a really nice little kintsugi project. Can't see much more than what's here. Oh well, I do see a little brass, and that's something of a rarity on this site. An always welcome find for me, even if it's nothing very interesting. Oh, I've been looking for a poison bottle just that size, and it's just about perfect for cutting down to be taken for my postcard-sized business cards, if I ever restart tabling at comic conventions and book fairs. I do kind of miss doing them, but haven't finished a writing project in ages, and can't quite afford yet to hire artists to work on some of the comic book scripts I did finish. Interesting piece of glass, the base of an A.S.M.R style vase I think, and that's 4 glass fish fins, if they were to be separated. Nice little plain amber pill bottle. I think it would have been cork stoppered, so probably quite old, right near to a plastic toothbrush, which can't realistically be more than 94 years old. 1927, the first plastic toothbrush. I do learn some very strange things in this hobby. Oh, that's a nice find. Glass bottle stopper of a perfume bottle. Cute and small, and my girlfriend likes these. And is that a coin sticking out? I think it might be. The edging's right. Might be George VI halfpenny. Too crusted to tell. Needs considerable gentle cleaning. Oh wow. Strangely see far more cutthroat razors in antique shops than I ever see in dump sites. Think this is only the second one. Must be one of the things that people just kept, regardless of whether they ever used them. I think my dad has one that used to belong to my granddad, and I doubt it's been used in more than half a century. Oh, I know it's only a sauce bottle, but it's absolutely gorgeous colour glass. Tiger sauce, Fletcher's. Think it's quite an early one, sheer lip and some bubbles in the glass. But then again, there is so much glass here that's marvellous colours, like that one, which is a style that typically held things like blacking fluid and boot polish, and they don't usually look as good as this. Could there be something in the soil that amplifies vibrancy in the glass? Or is it because this was a fairly rich town and rich towns got supplied with better glass? Wine bottle. Don't generally take them unless they're very old. Shame it's got one more hole than it's supposed to have. Now this thing, I saw it last time, didn't really know what it was other than a water canteen. Still not 100% sure, but it looks likely to be an incomplete Mark IV British military water bottle from 1895. Quite collectible when they're in much better condition. Think I'll take it. Another Mudlarker's pile. Not going to take it in case it's Phil's or Caroline's, but just seeing if this is dark glass. No, just dark and oily looking contents. Looks a lot like creosote, some types of which have been used as an antiseptic. Butterfly, painted lady that variety's called. Ah well, it's heading towards Phil, and around in a big arc, just avoiding me. Can't blame it, I'm camera shy too. There's a bottle digger digging off to my left, and it looks like a tomahawk. Looks like an interesting possible project piece, if it's not too corroded. As Phil strikes up a conversation, I'll just say yes to the blob-top bottle with an anchor. Phil is amazing, really does seem able to talk to anyone at any time at length on many diverse subjects, and importantly, he seems to thrive on it. I have very, very limited social energies, so my convivial conversation with a bottle digger lasted all of 1 minute. A bit of brass. Interesting nozzle. Guess it's on a postcard or in the comments letting me know what it might have been. That looks like an intact cod bottle. Still looks promising. Oh, the deception. I think a bottle digger might have deliberately staged it like that. Or does that thought suggest that maybe I'd think of doing something tricksy like that myself? Maybe. Eyes can't always be pointed at the ground, got to occasionally look around and notice that the sun is out and it's a beautiful day and I'm hunting for treasures with friends. Could only really be better if the wind would just be a little less blustering and if we all found amazing finds. Please do shout out if you see anything interesting. Oh, I see something. I'll work my way towards it. That's incredible, something so utterly smashed and yet still holding together. Light switch fitting, and of course the boat. I love finding toy boats, particularly homemade ones and really quite old ones. I think this might be the first one I found in an old dump site, found a few in rivers, and one day I plan on releasing them all back into the wild and watching them float off downstream, perhaps confusing and hopefully delighting people who see them. Undecided yet if I should refurbish them a little first. Maybe at least give them a waxing to stop them just soaking up water and sinking. Fellows, syrup of hyperphosphites. Shame there's a chip off the bottom and big cracks running through it. I'd have liked to have one of these. Another boat ink, more broken than the first one I found today, and is that another one? No, it's possibly a bit broken off. I think so, but it's not a perfect fit. It's still missing some bits. If the bits were smaller, I could fill them with lacquer, but they're too wide, too big. It's not one for kintsugi. Cobalt blue poison bottle. Melted. If it was the whole bottle, I'd take it, but I think it's just a bit over half of one. Maybe Phil would like it, or maybe he's already seen it. I'll ask. Broken just enough for the marble to have made its escape. Quite nice condition, wouldn't be bad for cutting down, but that's something I've tried once with a few bottles and succeeded easily enough. It's not something I really desire to do often. One of the oddities of this site is there's very few pieces of clay pipe. Smoking was once fairly ubiquitous, so I've got to assume that people in this richer than average town maybe smoked from posher, more durable pipes that weren't disposable. Hello, Manky Panda. Is that bug bugging you? I'll get it. Got it. And now I think it'll be happier on natural leaves than synthetic fibre. Manky Panda is the Johnsons' mascot, found on one of their visits to Yorkshire, rescued and now loved by many. He even appears on t-shirts. Why haven't I got a mascot? Or t-shirts? I see a knife. Well, partial butter knife. I don't have t-shirts or sweatshirts or any other merchandise. Is that even something people would want from me? Interesting, looks to have words stamped into it. First visible letter is R. Another word ends in R, or possibly the same word, and then there's an of. Registrar, maybe, that would be about the right length. I don't find much copper or brass here, but the bits I do find do tend to be more interesting than most. Just a lump, might have had a coin or a button at the centre of it, but doubtful there'll be any solid metal piece left inside, and it's a bit too run through with ashes and dirt to take for a hypothetical video in future of refining verdigris back to metal. I think I'm approaching 3 kilograms of verdigris saved up for it, and I do not have the other ingredients. Don't even know if I can get them. 2 molar sulfuric acid is a precursor chemical in explosives, so quite regulated in the UK. Have to sign an agreement to allow my house to be searched by authorities if they suspect me of anything untoward in order to order it. And high ampage, low voltage power inverters cost a lot, far more than I'd ever be likely to make from a single amateur chemistry video when the core of the channel is mudlarking. It's something I still want to do, as is refining gold from gilded pottery and some of the electrical things I found, stripping the tin off the tinned copper wire I found, and then from the resultant sodium stannate solution extracting metallic tin to use in bronze mixtures. Nowhere near enough chemistry for an entire channel, so sadly maybe one sector of things that I would like to try but never actually do. Oh, this is a nice flower pot. And it's intact. I'll take it.
Oh, well, look what I found. Evidence that Zorro once lived here.
The most recent digging seems to have stopped by this point. There's a few half-hearted old digger holes further on and up the hill a bit. But once I visited today, I found nothing that I didn't see last time I was here, and the thistles are still thistly, so we're going to start heading back. Indeed, the Johnsons already have. I don't think I found all that much today, but today isn't about that for me. It's about the nice people I've brought here finding lots and having a good time, and they filled their bags and then some. I reckon I'll be carrying some of it back to their car for them. Beautiful colour, but I've got too many. A bit of pipe stem. It doesn't often mean much to me finding these because they're really quite common in Yorkshire, but on this site they're rarer, and on ground that Caroline has searched, very rare. She loves finding pipe stem pieces, never seems to tire of them. I wonder what she would do if I gave her a box of pieces, including pipe bowls. Something creative and crafty on your craft channel, Caroline? Oh, this is a heartbreaker, just the colour of the glass, so intense. If it was intact, I'd certainly take it. That looks interesting. A strange cup or an electrical insulator? Well, I'm not sure, and I have no use for it. By all means, though, if you know what it is, and you think I'm making a mistake by leaving it, let me know. One thing I am taking is this, found a few minutes ago, picked up without realising that it's embossed. It's got some wonderful iridescence and it says Morse's Indian root pills. I read about these when I was looking up another patent medicine, and yeah, they weren't the cure-all that they were sold as, but they were probably one of the better ones, at least unlikely to make you sicker. Another flower pot, but while the other one had a charm, an elegant shape, and reminded me somehow of the TV series The Darling Buds of May, this one is blocky and not really appealing to me. I'll leave it where somebody else can find it, and somebody else may well feel very different about it than I do. The light is just right to make everything glow a bit, which is something I usually associate with a sunset, and I wish there was one now. I feel ever so satisfied when the outing ends with a good sunset, but if there's going to be one, it's still 2 hours away. Still, it's been a good day with good friends and some good finds. That's plenty. A roundup time. I had a good day, my friends Caroline and Phil had a good day, the sun shone, there were finds to find, and everyone had fun. It was a good sight, wasn't it? 2 videos there so far, and I found some very good things for the first time. Not as much, but still some very nice things this time. Found more good things the next time when Caroline and Phil came again months later, and I've a further 3 videos shot there, 2 of which I was with Caroline and Phil. I am very much going to miss mudlarking with them. That's not to say that we won't occasionally have larks together, just nowhere near as often. They've made the brave, and I think a sensible decision for them, that going forward mudlarking will no longer be the main focus of their channel. It's quite understandable this hobby has grown exponentially in the last few years, and a finite number of sites are seeing ever more visitors, making finds ever harder to find. Plus, they're older, have had some health issues, and rivers and riversides, wading and climbing the banks, are very physically demanding and inherently a bit dangerous. The growing popularity of the hobby has affected me, but not too much yet. There's still rivers I haven't visited, streams I want to wade up, there's a few dump sites I know of further afield to visit, a few sites that I'll revisit this year, and some historical sites that I might like to film at. But the dump sites close to me, oh, there are now many mudlarkers visiting the sites I know, and the opportunities to make a good mudlarking video here are becoming fewer and further between. Now don't get me wrong, I like every other mudlarker I've ever met, and I don't begrudge them the good finds or the good sites at all. I'm not precious about either the sites or most of the things that I've found. I've shared locations with many people, drawn maps for a few of them, and deliberately filmed the scenery, enough scenery for quite a few people to figure out where I was filming. I did that mostly because I believe it makes for much better videos. The growth in the hobby has benefited me too in many ways, and I think I can probably continue making mudlarking videos for quite a while yet. I've still got 15 more already shot, waiting to be edited, and plans to shoot a fair few more. Now the finds found in this video. Who would like to see a short video of me releasing toy boats back into the wild? It's a simple premise, one that I could take perhaps too far. I could fix up the 3 toy boats I've found to date, or even make some of my own, and then just let them go, floating off downstream to hopefully raise a few smiles. How far would be too far? Only 2 pieces of blue and white. That site has never yielded much pottery that would be usable for my intended use. I'm getting close to having enough now, I think, for that project. I definitely want to do it this year and get it to its intended resting place, which is in Scotland, so another trip northwards. A few nice bottle stoppers and one of the most bedraggled looking marbles I've ever seen. This bottle, well, I don't know what this will become, if anything. Dusty is most likely. I think it would be so much easier to craft a bioluminescent deep-sea creature diorama without using the bottle, but this crazy bottle has inspired me and made me want to try that, so it was worth picking up. This bottle, Adam of the Victorian Mudlark. If you're watching and you want it, let me know and I'll send it to you. All these, such beautiful condition aqua glass. It would be such a shame if I didn't keep all of it. But I really can't, I don't have room, so some will knock some similar but less vibrant examples out of my display, and some will get left in ruined farm buildings and get found and taken by other explorers. This little Indian root pill bottle I'm keeping, I like it. And the flower pot. I'd like to put a herb in it, but I'm not sure that's wise. It's been buried in a dump site which potentially had toxins in, and that might mean I shouldn't eat anything grown in dump site flower pots. So maybe a flower. The brass plate, cleaned up, doesn't lead any further than I got on the site. It does say registrar of, and I haven't been able to figure out of what. This tool is an odd one. Hatchet, hammer and pry bar is a combination that is quite common, used often in roofing and sometimes in carpentry, but I couldn't find a picture of one where the pry bar was at the handle end. There's some heavy corrosion to the handle and the pry bar part, so I don't think that it can be restored to its original purpose, but it could become a tomahawk, and I shall keep it with that in mind, and maybe one day when I've got more metalworking skills than I currently have, might give it a go. I do hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, and if you'd like to, then any expression of appreciation that flows my way is gratefully received. A big thank you to everyone who's pressed the like button, or the dislike button, the subscribe button and the bell icon, written a comment, replied to somebody else's comment, shared a link to my videos on another platform, or even just copied the share link and not posted it elsewhere. It all helps. A big thank you to all of the kind people who've donated through Ko-fi, Super Chats during premieres, super thanks on video pages and purchases from my Amazon wish lists. I am very grateful indeed. I hope you're looking after yourself and loved ones as best you can. Thank you all very much for watching, and for now, goodbye.